A quarter of a century ago, William and Ellen Craft were slaves in the state of Georgia. Their desire for freedom was strong. They were willing to make any sacrifice and endure any punishment to be free. They thought of many ways to pull off their escape. And then the thought came to them that one would act like a master and the other would act like a servant. Ellen took the identity of a young master, changed her clothes to male attire, and even cut her hair. William and Ellen both knew that they would have many challenges on their travels to Philadelphia. They knew that they would have to go through many customs that they would have to conform to, or give a valid reason as to why they couldn't. William was smart and knew how to play the game. Ellen pretended to be ill to hold little conversation, while William talked them out of everything. Ellen practiced gestures and behaviors to get them right. She wore her right arm in a sling to hide the fact that she did not know how to write. They traveled to nearby Macon for a train to Savannah. Although the Crafts had several close calls along the way, and neither could read nor write, they were successful in evading detection. On December 21st, they boarded a steamship for Philadelphia, in the free state of Pennsylvania, where they arrived on the early morning of Christmas Day. Soon after the Crafts' arrival in the North, abolitionists such as William Lloyd Garrison and William Wells Brown encouraged them to recount their escape in public lectures to abolitionist circles of New England. They moved to the well-established free black community on the north side of Beacon Hill in Boston, where they were married in a Christian ceremony. Ellen Craft posed in her escape clothes for a photograph. It was widely distributed by abolitionists as a part of their campaign against slavery. Like her actions, her image as a man challenged viewers' assumptions about the fixity of gender, race, normalcy, and class. Bounty hunters and slave catchers sought fees for finding fugitive slaves. William Craft described the new law as an enactment too infamous to have been thought of or tolerated by any people in the world except the unprincipled and tyrannical Yankees. Aided by their supporters, the Crafts decided to escape to England. They traveled from Portland, Maine, overland to Halifax, Nova Scotia, where they boarded the Cambria, bound for Liverpool. As William later recounted in their memoir, it was not until we stepped ashore at Liverpool that we were free from every slavish fear. They were aided in England by a group of prominent abolitionists, including Harriet Martineau. She arranged for their intensive schooling at the Ockman School in Surrey. The Crafts spent 19 years in England, where they had 5 children together. Ellen participated in reform organizations such as the London Emancipation Committee, the Women's Suffrage Organization, and the British and Foreign Freedmen's Society. They earned speaking fees by public lectures about slavery in the U.S. and their escape. William Craft set up a business again, but they still struggled financially. For most of their time in England, the Craft family lived in Hammersmith. After the end of the Civil War and the emancipation of slaves, Ellen located her mother Maria in Georgia. She paid for her passage to England, so they were reunited. In 1868, after the American Civil War and the passage of constitutional amendments granting emancipation, citizenship, and rights to freedmen, the Crafts returned with 3 of their children to the United States. They raised funds from supporters, and in 1870, they bought 1,800 acres of land in Georgia near Savannah and Bryan County. They founded the Woodville Cooperative Farm School in 1873 for the education and employment of freedmen. In 1876, William Craft was charged with misuse of funds, and he lost a libel case in 1878, in which he tried to clear his name. The school closed soon after. Although the Crafts tried to keep the farm running, dropping cotton prices and post-Reconstruction era violence contributed to its failure. Whites discriminated against freedmen while working to reestablish white supremacy in politics and economics. By 1876, white Democrats regained control of the state government in the South. In 1890, the Crafts moved to Charleston, South Carolina to live with their daughter Ellen, who was married to Dr. William D. Crum. He was appointed collector of the Port of Charleston by President Theodore Roosevelt. The elder Ellen Craft died in 1891, and her widower William in January 1900.